Hi, what is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down my recap of the Deka mile I did on Saturday. So I believe this was my fourth Deka mile that I did, and if I'm being completely transparent with you guys, which I'm always transparent with you guys, not my best race. Actually, I believe it was my worst race that I've ever ran when it comes to the Deka mile. I could sit here and basically explain the reasons why I think it was my worst week ever, but I'm going to start with that. As I start with that, I'm going to play some, basically the footage from the race so you can see actually how I did, and you can tell by the footage the race kicked my butt. So first things first, cool event. It was at a gym that I've actually did I think my last Deka mile at. The guy that put it on, shout out to Oscar. He always puts on a great event. So my mom, dad, obviously Cassie, Adeline went down to support me, so that was super cool. It was outside. Okay, so as soon as we got there, my race kicked off at about 11:30, and it was in Van Nuys. I think it was like 90 something, and it was pretty humid. Never done a race outside, so I kind of figured that the heat was going to play a factor in it. However, that's the name of the game. Like, that's just every racer there had to deal with it, so you know, it is what it is. For the past 2 weeks though, leading up to the race, I really didn't work out like I would have liked to, because I was basically dealing with a little cold, sickness, whatever, part of life. So I came in 10 pounds heavier than what I would have liked. I didn't have the 2 weeks, like I said, just leading up to the race, my training was not on point at all. But I said this on my Instagram the other day, as I'm thinking of all these things, and you know, my mom and dad were like, oh well, you know, like you weren't feeling good, and basically all the reasons that I told them why I didn't think it was going to be a good race. That's just part of life. Like I said in my Instagram the other day, when the voice of average will come in and try to basically justify all these reasons and justify all these excuses and make you feel like, oh man, I overcame a lot to, you know, do this race, and you know, that's why I didn't run the race I wanted, but I still should be proud that I overcame all these things. Excuses do not make you unique. They don't make you special. And this is what I was saying to myself as I was thinking of all these things. Like, they make you human at the end of the day. I guarantee out of all the racers there at the actual event, maybe 1% actually had perfect training, perfect scenario, perfect race, and everything just lined up perfect. Life is a series of unperfect situations over and over and over, and then every once in a while you do have a perfect situation. But that wasn't Saturday. You know, Saturday was not the perfect situation for me. So I kind of stopped like thinking like, oh, you know, justifying my reasons, justifying my excuses, because at the end of the day, like I said, I'm sure people at the race ran a good race and they had to overcome some other things. So my situations don't really make me special and doesn't give me a reason to like justify why I ran a bad race. At the end of the day, it was a bad race, and that's part of life. So you keep pushing. Anyways, on to the race. So at the actual warm-up, I was talking to this guy. I always talk to the racers there. That's one of the reasons why I love doing these events, is because I love just talking to different people that are into fitness and picking their brain and, you know, talking to them about training. So the guy I actually talked to, Chris, I was asking him like, hey, have you done this before? He's like, yeah, I've done this before. And I said, oh, what's your fastest time? He's like, I'm actually trying to beat sub 20 today. Well, that's very impressive. So when I heard that, I was like, oh shoot, like this guy's legit. And he asked me, he's like, what's your fastest time or something like that? I said, dude, I'm just trying to get 26:49. That was the time I was trying to beat, because that was my fastest time. So he was telling me he was trying to do this so that he could be top 15 in his age group and everything. So, you know, I wished him good luck and everything. And it was funny because as soon as the race started, you could kind of see him in the video. The dude just took off. And I've done races before where people take off and it bites them in the butt in the end because they don't pace themselves. But what I realized is when you're racing against someone who I would consider the dude elite. I mean, he did really well that day. He just took off and he basically kept that speed the entire time. It was funny because after I actually told him that Cassie said, like, she was like, this guy's an idiot, he's going way too fast, like he's not going to be able to like catch himself, because we've seen that before where people go way too fast. But now he held it. I think he got 20 minutes flat, so he didn't get sub 20. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think he killed it. So I'm gonna reach out to him in about a week or so and see if he actually kept it to being in the top 15. So hopefully he did. But anyways, race kicks off. It was always the first initial like turnaround, basically the lap. Your adrenaline's pumping. My legs always feel like Bambi. I didn't feel really warmed up. Last one when I did take off, I felt like I had a good warm up. So this one, right from the get-go, I was like, okay, my legs feel a little weird, but maybe it's just my adrenaline pumping and I'll get into it. So I get to the first station, I do the lunges. Lunges, didn't seem bad. I was doing them at a steady pace. Again, I was just trying to pace and finish the race. However, as soon as I got out of that station one, my legs felt like jello, and I was like, that's not a good sign. Usually after the first station, they don't feel that like bad, but they did, so I was like, okay, this might be a long race. Then I got into the second one, the rower. I kept a pretty steady pace. I usually always do it in about 2 minutes. That's another thing. Looking back on this, I'm taking a whole different approach to my training, for the next one, I think in 6 weeks or so. So I did the rower in about 2 minutes, and then I went and, did my second lap. Second lap, I felt a little, I felt fine at that point. Then I came and I did the box step overs. I didn't feel like I had a good rhythm this time. Usually the box step overs, I could kind of get almost like a jumping, kind of skipping rhythm going. I just couldn't, I couldn't get it. I don't know. I don't know if it, like I said, it was just the heat or whatever, but I was just not getting into like a rhythm. So then I went for my next lap, and then I did the ab crunches. Didn't get that on film, but that one's not really ever an issue. And it's funny because I asked Chris, I said, hey, where are the stations that you feel you could really cut out a lot of time? Like, can you cut out time on the crunches, or is it kind of just you have one speed? He said you can't really. He's like, these are the ones that he focuses on. But what's crazy is when I was watching me do the ab crunches compared to him do the ab crunches, there is a different speed. He was moving through them a lot faster. So again, I was taking a lot of tips from watching someone who's elite do this. After that, then we did, the ski erg. Ski erg, again, I always usually do that in about two minutes. I would like to get faster at that. However, I don't have one yet. I'm hoping to get one by the end of the year for my garage. Then I did my next lap. Then I got into farmer's carries, I believe it is. And this is where I started realizing, like, okay, I think I'm in trouble. The farmer's carries, I actually had to drop them. Usually I don't think I've ever actually had to drop them and then go again. That's when I knew, okay, I'm pretty fatigued. Not a good sign. Because I did drop them, I caught pace and went back at it. By this time, as I was doing the running, I could feel my mouth very dry. I was sweating like crazy at this point. And I knew I still had a couple stations left, and the final like 4 are the ones that always get me. So then I went into the assault bike. Now I bought an assault bike or an echo bike, so I figured I'd be pretty good at this because I now have felt like what a steady pace feels like, and then also what pain feels like and how I can withstand that. However, this assault bike was just not moving. I think I did it in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Again, I think that was my worst time ever on the assault bike, and that was actually one of the ones that Chris said if you do that quick, like some of the elites do it in like a minute, which is crazy. And when I was doing the ski erg, he was on it, and he was actually standing up and just cranking on this thing. So if you watch me when I'm doing it, I mean, I'm just trying to move the thing, and as I'm moving it, the calories are not going anywhere. You really have to pump your arms, pump your legs in order to get those calories cranked up, and it just wasn't happening. Then I got into the med ball over the shoulder tosses, and when I got to rep 10 and I realized I was only halfway through, I have never gotten this close to actually quitting a race before, but that voice of average was coming in tough and basically saying, you're not going to beat your time at this point. It's hot, your mouth is dry, and then all the excuses. You haven't worked out in 2 weeks. You didn't get you've been sick for the past 2 weeks. You're 10 pounds overweight of what you wanted. All those reasons where I almost literally just pulled it and said, it's not worth it. It is what it is. I'm not even going to finish. However, there's just things that go through your mind that kind of keep you going. One, My daughter was there. She was watching me. I know it's not really a big deal to her right now, but it's a big deal to me. I don't want her to see her dad quit something. Same with, I didn't want to quit in front of Cassie. I don't want to have them ever see me quit something. So I was like, I just got to finish at the end of the day. So I ended up doing the wall ball, or the over the shoulder toss, medicine ball toss or whatever. And then I went into the sled push. When I got into the sled push, at this point, all strategy, all, getting into a rhythm was out the door. I was just like, I'm just going to push this thing and pull this thing. I didn't even usually do the technique of actually when I row, which I've seen people, they get into a rhythm where they actually like sit and pull it and sit and pull it. But I had literally no strength. I just felt weak this whole race. So that took me, I think that took me like 5 minutes. It took me a while. And you could see from the video, I'm just pushing it, walking it back, pushing it, walking it back. Did my last lap, and I got to the burpees. The burpees, they also said that now it's official, you have to lock out that thing 100%. So I wanted to be able to kind of use my legs and push it up. However, you could see techniques pretty much out the window just because I was beat. I was hot. This part was in the sun. It was on the mat. I was sweating, so I was slipping. So it was a hot mess. And I just wasn't, like I said, physically I was beat. This is the one that I've had to take the most rests in. So then I finished the race. And I got, like I said, it was 30 minutes and I think 20 seconds or 30 minutes and 12 seconds, something like that. My time to beat, I wanted to beat 26:49. Because I think I'd done one in 26:49, one in 27 minutes. So I missed it by 4 minutes. And like I said, I could say I didn't train for 2 weeks. I was sick for 2 weeks. My weight wasn't where I wanted it to be, or where I wanted it to be. The fact that it was in the sun. But it would have been cool to have all those and still run a good race. Because then I would have been able to deal with some adversity and perform. However, I think the adversity got me that time. I don't think there's really any explanation other than I just didn't run my best race, and that's part of the game. Key takeaways, sometimes I learn the most from when I do the worst, if that makes sense. So learning from this, I went and talked to Chris afterwards, kind of picked his brain a little bit of just different things. I asked him how he trained for it. And now I really have a game plan moving forward. Like I said, I think there's another one on October 20th. So if I'm looking at my calendar, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 6 weeks out. I'm kind of switching over my training. So I'll do a video about that maybe this next week, showing kind of what my workouts are going to look like. Because at the end of the day, I do enjoy doing these things. I want to obviously improve at the end of the day. I mean, if I could get to a 20, that would be crazy. That would be, that's basically cutting 10 minutes off my time. I don't know if that's physically possible with where I'm at currently in my life. Because at the end of the day, I love doing these things. My main priority, however, is being a great husband and being a great father. I told someone the other day, or someone asked me the other day, what's the greatest compliment that you ever gotten? And I said, my best compliments that I ever get is when someone says, you are an amazing father, or you are an amazing husband. Obviously, when they come from my wife or daughter, that's even more. But from random people saying, oh, you're an amazing father, they must see what I'm doing, and that's a great compliment. Someone saying oh, you're a beast at fitness, I obviously appreciate that at the end of the day, but I'm not willing to devote the time that these guys are putting in to run those races. So I don't know, we'll see. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to train to my full capacity and bust my butt in the training to obviously reach my best version of myself. So moving forward, it looks like I'm going to be in the maintenance phase. I think I found my maintenance calories. Obviously, I'm doing a 16-week prep to the unknown because I still don't know. I haven't heard anything back from High Rocks, but they did put a second day in the Las Vegas one. And when I was talking to Chris at this event, he was saying that they've been doing a lot more 2-day events. So I'm hoping that Anaheim opens up a second day, and then I'll be golden. If not, like I said, I'll probably do the Spartan in December. But I'm going to do a 16-week program where I really push myself and I see what I can I get down to. I've been running a lot. I'm going to focus on my speed, running technique. I've been watching videos. I've been reading books on all this stuff just because I just want to see what I'm capable of. I did find my maintenance calories because I'm pretty much sitting at about 211, 212, My maintenance calories is right around 2,600, 2,700. So I'm probably going to do that for about 2 more weeks, and then I might drop it, maybe like 200 calories for about 2 weeks, and then I'll probably start the cut when I'm about 8 weeks out, and then that's when I'll probably drop it down to like 22, 2,300. And hopefully that's when I'll start being able to lose weight like I did in the previous years of cutting pretty fast. So anyways, that's the video. I told you guys I would do a recap, so here it is. Biggest takeaways: not my best race. It is what it is. Keep pushing, move on. Happens to everybody. Comment below if you've had that situation where you've had a bad race. Like you go in and it's not your first race, or your 4th or 5th or whatever, and you just have a bad race. Let me know how you overcome it, and let me know your strategies. If you guys have any tips out there watching my technique, if you want to call it that, from the video, please comment below how I could improve my speed on these things, because like I said, there's a lot of elite athletes out there that I could definitely learn some things from. So anyways, I'm excited for the next, I guess, 12 weeks, I think, 13 weeks. I don't know how many weeks we have until December 7th to see what I could push my physique to. Hopefully I could increase my cardio, my strength. I got a lot of stuff I want to improve by December 7th. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you guys can follow along. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate that. I really appreciate all you guys, all you OGs who have been with me from day one, commenting, subscribing, liking my videos, reaching out to me, positive feedback, any feedback. It means a lot to me, and I really appreciate you guys doing that. So you guys have a great rest of your week, and you guys already know the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I will catch you guys in the next one.